And the idea of telling a story over more than just a couple of hours, told every few years, opens us up to this novelization of story and a return back to the roots in many ways of the Saturday afternoon serial films that my parents' generation grew up with cliffhangers, adventure, and those drawing from that type of style of storytelling lends itself really well to what we're tackling here. And so there's also it's fun not to have a preciousness in the way we're telling the stories, because we're coming back to you next week with another one. And so to engage the audience in the way that I enjoy being engaged with the shows, with the films, the shows specifically what BBC had done, or the streaming services where it's bigger budget, it has a lot of the qualities and aesthetics of a film, but the novelization of a serialized storytelling, to me, that's where it really opened up a lot of freedom and opportunity, where we don't feel that we're repeating or copying anything else that people have experienced from Star Wars. Everybody, wherever they are, if they have the service, they're seeing it first, and it's nice to be able to show stuff to people to understand what it is, so you can talk about it and kind of cut through all of the how crowded the marketplace is with so many stories and so many services. So it's nice to have everybody here to react to it, which is really helpful in getting the word out. But it's also nice to have people to be able to be everybody to experience something at the same time, which is what I really loved about watching like Game of Thrones, is that there's a sense of what's going to happen this week, and the idea that it's not cascading down. Now, of course, the service isn't available everywhere yet. Hopefully, that's gonna be over as it rolls out. Hopefully, everybody around the world will be able to have that same experience. But for us, there's a really fun dialogue that we're looking forward to that we usually normally get only at the conventions, where you get to show it, people get to react, and then you get to talk about it, and it gets us excited as filmmakers, and then that dialogue unfolds over the course of, and I'm happy it's being released at a rhythm, because it gives us a chance, although we're not able to react in what we're doing because all those episodes are done. And certainly will inform what we're doing the second season, which we're actually in the first week of the second season's under our belt. And our cast, when you see them, especially Pedro, might be a little tired. He was there quite late last night.
Should we bring out this tired cast?
Are they here?
Putting the helmet on, for sure, which they had handy at our first meeting, and to see if it would fit. It fit perfectly. And I guess, very simply, trying the costume on for the first time and looking in the mirror. You can't see very well through the helmet, but I got a pretty clear impression. And if you grow up, playing with Star Wars toys and obviously seeing these movies, and then you're staring at yourself and you are the image of that kind of childhood imagination, it's a super pinch me moment. Quote me exactly, super pinch me.
Is that a hashtag? Super pinch.
Super pinch. Hashtag super pinch. Mandalorian.
I think for me, it was my first day on set. Seeing the whole costume come together, and John and Dave came, and they made such a big deal out of it. Oh my gosh, look how great you look. And I was like, wow, this is really great. But then I saw they did it to everybody, and I was like, oh, you do that to everyone? Okay. But it really honestly was one of my favorite unforgettable moments, being on set, seeing the other cast members, be it behind a helmet or a creature or this one.
Or this one.
This one right here. And then, actually, my first day on set, I was on a blurb. So I was up on this big thing, and I was just like, okay, this is it. This is my life now. So it was incredible.
Wow, and John did sort of a slow roll on me. It's like okay, I've got this thing that I want to talk to you about, and okay. And first of all, I mean, I'd met John, so we had a lot of interaction, even though it wasn't like really personal stuff. But we had a lot of interaction, and I really admired him, and I'm sincere about that. I really admired him because this guy is super smart, ridiculously smart, about much more than just making movies. So that was number one. So I'm fascinated. I'm saying, okay, those are the kind of people I want to be around and know, so I can maybe like grab something that he's got that I really admire. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you folks know this. I'm going to embarrass you a little bit. Happy birthday, John.
Oh, thank you very much.
Today is the day. Today is the day. Happy birthday.
We're so glad. Big
that
3-0.
Contributions are,
And it's Dave's first time directing live action.
long overdue.
And Rick Famuyiwa also did a couple for us.
And don't forget Deborah Chow.
And Deb Chow, of course. She's who's going on now to do the Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
She's a powerhouse.
So she came into Star. So this is really, you're going to see, I think, a lot of people that are working in this incubator of story and technology and Star, really people who got together because they love Star Wars, and this, I think, enthusiasm that seems to be very contagious, not just with the people on the couch here, but the artwork he's talking about. That's Doug Chang, who's been part of a lot of people who came up through the ranks over the years since the prequels, and all of them slowly, like Tom Sawyer, coming together to paint the fence. And there's this real enthusiasm that's very organic as we're telling the stories, and it's a very collaborative environment. We talk a lot about story, and I write most of it, but that's just a jumping off point for the directors to be very involved and very collaborative, and all the people who are involved, whether it's ILM or Lucasfilm or within the cast or Mandalorian, and so it becomes this really fun collaborative thing that takes on its own life and own personality. And I think you'll see with each of the directors, unlike a lot of television, the directors are really being given an opportunity to have authorship over it as though it were a film. So it's been very exciting for us to have that kind of environment to come to work to every day.
What did you learn making season 1 that you are now putting into season 2? And when will you announce the other directors of season 2?
Well, I learned a tremendous amount every day, and I think for me, one of the things is, I was on set every day the whole season, so I learned watching every single one of our directors. I learned watching our great cast, everyone behind the scenes. I treated it as, boot camp for me to learn this type of filmmaking, but then I tried to offer the knowledge that had been passed on to me by George for Star Wars things and just the way that he liked to shoot things. But it definitely has affected the way I look at, a day. What can I accomplish in a day? That's a big difference for me, filmmaking wise. We arrived on a back lot and the DP, Greg's like, well, the sun's up, we gotta get going. I'm like, oh, right, because it's going to go down. Animation, you don't really have that problem. So, you're getting on 6 o'clock and everyone's getting squirrely and you're like, the sun's going down, the sun's going down. I'm like, right, then we're screwed. So the whole set's going down. So there's a bunch of very tangible things that are going to happen. And, I love having this experience and knowing the difference between animation. There are advantages and disadvantages to each one. I don't, frankly, at this point prefer one or the other. I like both experiences and they're both unique, but I do love, and I'm talking with Kathy quite a bit about this as she's asked me the differences that I've experienced. There's something about the concrete nature of live action. It's incredibly spontaneous, it's gonna happen right there in the moment, and then that's it. Where I can tweak a tiny eyebrow or a tiny smirk or give Ahsoka just a little bit of a push in a direction that will dramatically change the character. You have to get all these variables to kind of come together and be aware of it. And it's not like you're controlling any of it as much as you're guiding it. And John would stand with me and speak this, you're looking at everything all at once. Where in animation, it's like a recipe that I can keep adding little ingredients. And you have a lot of flexibility, thank God, in digital. And in post, we can do a lot. But capturing that moment right in front of you is, I think, the real magic of it all, and something that I've been craving to try. And luckily, we have an incredible crew a cast that can capture those moments, as hopefully you saw in the footage. But yeah, that's what I learned the most.
What about the directors of season 2?
Can we talk about that?
We haven't announced it yet.
Okay, well.
Let's say yeah, we
We
can talk
announced
about
one.
You know, maybe there's another one, maybe there's another one. There's a new person too that hasn't been announced yet, who was working last night. So that's all I can say.
Percentages as far as you being in the costume versus a stunt double? Those are 2 questions.
Well, you know, stunt doubles are essential to every large production, just so you know, like even for the strongest people or agile ones. So none of it can get done without the incredible stunt work. I mean, especially, what did you guys see today, like 27 minutes or something? You saw like the whole clip? You have no idea the amount of star power from every department that goes into making something like this. From, you know, the person that is like, you know, working on the shine of my shoulder to the person who built the entire ship that we're shooting on, or the whole set. I've seen some pretty big shit, and I haven't seen anything like this. And so, yeah, there's stunts, thank God.
I do my own stunts. I have never, in all my years, had a stunt person do anything. Take that to the bank.
That's me. I did not want to see anybody else in this car do costume. I was like, oh, is she running? Okay, I'll run. Okay, that's fine. No, we don't need her.
It's true, too.
Yeah, no, I really hated anybody that was in this costume. I didn't want to share at all.
I'm a bit more generous.
We have time for